All-Star Band, which includes Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper, will continue their tour starting July 12th at the Fraze Pavilion in Kearney, Ohio. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer stumbled and collapsed just off the stage during a performance in New York Sunday night and was rushed to a nearby hospital. Fans' video captured the 65-year-old guitarist and longtime member of Aerosmith having to sit on the drum riser during a song at New Ford Amphitheater in Brooklyn. A few seconds later, he stopped playing and stumbled off stage where he lost consciousness. EMTs on site revived Perry and took him to a Brooklyn hospital. Alice Cooper also tweeted that Perry is doing better and thanked fans for their supports. Cooper said he is stable right now with family and is under the best care. David Gilmour of Pink Floyd fame played 2 shows at the Pompeii Amphitheater, marking the first time he has played there in 45 years. Gilmour performed in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius July 7th and 8th, where he previously played for the 1971 film Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii, Unclad.co.uk reported. The guitarist played a number of Pink Floyd classics, along with songs from his current album, Rattle That Lock. Among the songs he performed was One of These Days, the only one he also performed there back in 1971. He also sang The Great Gig in the Sky with backup from vocalists Louise Marshall, Lucy Jules, and Brian Chambers. Then Wish You Were Here, a new arrangement featuring a honky-tonk solo performance by keyboardist Chuck LaVille. Gilmour's concerts at the Stone Amphitheater, which had famously been buried in ash when Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD and not uncovered until after World War II, included an audience unlike the 1971 gig, NME reported. It was the first audience for a Pompeii Amphitheater performance in nearly 2,000 years. Gilmour, an honorary citizen of Pompeii, says, "It's a magical place, and coming back and seeing the stage and the arena was quite overwhelming. It is a place of ghosts in a friendly way." Gilmour is scheduled to perform a 5-night run at London's Royal Albert Hall in September as part of the Rattle That Lock World Tour in 2016. Lil Wayne suffered another epileptic seizure in Las Vegas recently, sending him to intensive care last week. Also known as Wheezy, Wayne had to be removed from his private plane during 2 emergency landings in June due to seizures. He tweeted, "False alarm, I appreciate the prayers and concerns, but I'm good. Love." But he reportedly had a severe seizure just moments before he was to take the stage for a performance at the Tao nightclub in Las Vegas as part of a pre-UFC 200 party. TMZ reported that Lil Wayne chalked the seizure up to doctors not being able to properly balance his medication. He spent time in intensive care before being released and is now reportedly resting in Miami. The multi-platinum rapper, whose real name is Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., has said previously that he's epileptic and has suffered seizures since childhood. He says he quit drinking lean, a drink containing promethazine codeine syrup mixed with Sprite, because of the seizures, but was seen last month openly drinking it in Milwaukee prior to the emergency plane landings incidents. He also suffered a seizure in 2012, prompting his private flight to make an emergency landing. And he reportedly had a separate string of seizures in 2013 that nearly proved fatal. Singer, songwriter, and pop star Taylor Swift pulled in $170 million in just the past year, putting her in the #1 spot on the 2016 Forbes Celebrity 100 list. Most of the loot came from Swift's 1989 World Tour, during which she broke the Rolling Stones North American tour record, pulling in $200 million gross and $250 million in total, the San Francisco Examiner reported. Other income came from her ad promotions for Diet Coke, Apple, and Keats. While significantly more than last year's highest-paid musician, Katy Perry, who made $135 million, Swift's pay fell far below that of boxer Floyd Mayweather, who in 2015 pulled in $300 million for his fight with Manny Pacquiao. Had Swift and her ex, Calvin Harris, stayed together, they would have grabbed the top spot for celebrity couples, even topping Beyonce and Jay-Z's $107.5 million. Harris claimed the Forbes list number 21 spot with $63 million. Others on the top 10 list of earners included boy band One Direction in the #2 spot at $110 million, actor and comedian Kevin Hart taking the #6 spot with $87.5 million, and the king of all media Howard Stern at #7 with $85 million. And speaking of Taylor Swift, she spent Tuesday evening surrounded by children at Australia's Lady Salento Children's Hospital, much to the thrills of its wards. Swift is traveling with her new beau, Tom Hiddleston, and while he went off to work, the blank space star went to the hospital to see the kids, E! News reported. Children's Hospital Queensland posted, "Thank you, Taylor Swift, for dropping by at the Lady Salento's Children's Hospital today for a surprise visit." The hospital visit was coordinated by the Starlight Children's Foundation, a nonprofit organization that supports teenagers through their sickness. While Swift spent 4 hours visiting the sick youngsters, Hiddleston went to work filming Thor Ragnarok, in which he reprises the role of Loki. Pop star Britney Spears is teasing a new song on social media in a new ad for her recently released fragrance, Private Show. The clip, posted on Instagram Monday, features Spears walking backstage as she strips down into her revealing lingerie before she pulls down a lever to turn some lights on. The new track then begins to play quickly, with the pop star singing the fragrance name before the song quickly tunes out. Spears captioned the commercial snippet, "Stay tuned, #Private Show, #Take a Bow, at Britney Spears Fragrance." The new song would presumably appear on Spears' upcoming 9th studio album, which she announced back in November. The follow-up to her 2013 release, Britney Jean, was last discussed in June when she explained to E! News, "I've been working on this album for a year and a half now, almost 2 years, so it really means a lot to me. It's my baby." She continued, "It's a little more melodic, a little more not so poppy. It's kind of chill, very chill." Spears remains in residence at the Axis in Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, where she will perform through 2017. The 34-year-old opened at the 2016 Billboard Music Awards in May, performing a melody of some of her biggest hits. The VH1 hip-hop honors were all about the ladies Monday night, with praise going to Queen Latifah, Lil' Kim, Missy Elliott, and Salt-N-Pepa, honored for their stellar careers in a male-dominated genre. A few surprises came along with the honors, Billboard reported. Sean Diddy Combs made an unexpected appearance to honor Lil' Kim. He said, "I flew in here tonight to honor my sister Lil' Kim. The way you walk, the way you talk, you've always pushed the envelope. There's only one Queen Bee." Black Lives Matter founders Alicia Garza and Darnell Moore opened the show, and Queen Latifah took time during her turn at the mic to talk about racism, how it is alive and well in 2016. Queen Latifah said, referencing to the events in Louisiana, Minnesota, Dallas, and elsewhere over the past week, "We all know that the world and our world is really tense right now. It's a lot of tension, it's a lot of angst, it's a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. I'm hoping that we can somehow manage to channel all these emotions that we have in a positive way and really do something to change our world." She said, according to a Hollywood Reporter, "I don't care how much money or things I have, or Puff has, or Missy has, ladies have. If I go outside and try to hail a cab and he passes me for the white woman standing right there, that's racism is still alive and kicking, and we have to change that. And I'm not blaming the white lady. She needed a cab too. I'm just saying we got to change that attitude." Garza opened the show with a similar message. She said, "This movement is grounded in black people's dignity, justice, and freedom. It's about love, not violence. Joy is also an important part of our movement." The show had plenty of excitement as well as sadness and reflection. Eve performed a tribute to Salt-N-Pepa's Shoop. Nelly Furtado led a Missy Elliott melody, and First Lady Michelle Obama appeared via video to give a huge shout-out to Elliott and Queen Latifah. And now let's take a look at what happened on this date in entertainment history. On this date in 1985, Live Aid concert is held. On July 13, 1985, at Wembley Stadium in London, Princess Charles and Princess Diana officially opened Live Aid, a worldwide rock concert organized to raise money for the relief of famine-stricken Africans. Continuing at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia and other arenas around the world, the 16-hour super concert was globally linked by satellite to more than 1 billion viewers in 110 nations. In a triumph of technology and goodwill, the event raised more than $125 million for famine relief for Africa. Live Aid was the brainchild of Bob Geldof, the singer of an Irish rock group called the Boomtown Rats. In 1984, Geldof traveled to Ethiopia after hearing news reports of a horrific famine that had killed hundreds of thousands of Ethiopians and threatened to kill millions more. After returning to London, he called Britain and Ireland's top pop artists together to record a single to benefit Ethiopian famine relief. Do They Know It's Christmas was written by Geldof and Ultravox singer Merge Uri and performed by Band Aid, an ensemble that featured Culture Club, Duran Duran, Phil Collins, U2, Wham, and others. It was the best-selling single in Britain to that date and raised more than $10 million. Do They Know It's Christmas was also a #1 hit in the United States and inspired U.S. pop artists to come together and perform We Are the World, a song written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie. USA for Africa, and as the U.S. ensemble was known, featuring Jackson, Richie, Geldof, Harry Belafonte, Bob Dylan, Cyndi Lauper, Paul Simon, Bruce Springsteen, Tina Turner, Stevie Wonder, and many others. The single went on to top the charts and eventually raised $44 million. With the crisis continuing in Ethiopia and the neighboring Sudan also stricken with famine, Geldof proposed Live Aid, an ambitious global charity concert aimed at raising more funds and increasing awareness of the plight of many Americans. Organized in just 10 weeks, Live Aid was staged on Saturday, July 13, 1985. More than 75 acts performed, including Elton John, Madonna, Santana, Run DMC, Sade, Sting, Bryan Adams, The Beach Boys, Mick Jagger, David Bowie, Queen, Duran Duran, U2, The Who, Tom Petty, Neil Young, and Eric Clapton. The majority of these artists performed at either Wembley Stadium in London, where a crowd of 70,000 turned out, or at Philadelphia's JFK Stadium, where 100,000 watched. 13 satellites beamed a live television broadcast of the event to more than 1 billion viewers in 110 countries. More than 40 of these nations held telethons for African famine relief during the broadcast. A memorable moment of the concert was Phil Collins' performance in Philadelphia after flying by Concorde from London, where he performed at Wembley earlier in the day. He later played drums in a reunion of the surviving members of Led Zeppelin. Beatle Paul McCartney and The Who's Pete Townsend held Bob Geldof aloft on their shoulders during the London finale, which featured a collective performance of Do They Know This Christmas. 6 hours later, the U.S. concert ended with We Are the World. Live Aid eventually raised $127 million in famine relief for African nations, and the publicity it generated encouraged Western nations to make available enough surplus grain to end the immediate hunger crisis in Africa. Geldof was later knighted by Queen Elizabeth II for his efforts. In early July 2005, Geldof staged a series of Live Aid concerts in 11 countries around the world to help raise awareness of global poverty. Organizers led by Geldof purposely scheduled the concert days before the annual G8 summit in an effort to increase political pressure on G8 nations to address the issues facing the extreme poor around the world. Live Aid claimed that an estimate 3 billion people watched 1,000 musicians perform in 11 shows, which were broadcast on 182 television networks and by 2,000 radio stations. Unlike Live Aid was intently not billed as a fundraiser. Geldof's slogan was, "We don't want your money, we want your voice." Perhaps in part because of the spotlight brought on such issues by Live Aid, the GA subsequently voted to cancel the debt of 18 of the world's poorest nations, making AIDS drugs more accessible, and double levels of annual aid to Africa from $50 billion by 2010. And that is your entertainment report for Wednesday, July 13th, 2016. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. On Twitter at The Enter Report, or on Instagram at The Entertainment Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com or your iHeart phone app, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.